is starting soon and parents are looking for great after-school activities. And our next guest says that theater might be the best choice for your child's development. Allison Bret is the Director of Education for Broadway Dallas, and she's here to shine the spotlight on why theater is a great way for a child's development to take center stage. Welcome. I'm so glad that you're here.
Thank you for having me.
This is a topic that's near and dear to my heart. I said earlier,
mine too.
I was a theater kid. I know that you happen to be married to an all grown-up theater kid.
That's
as
right.
Well. So
my husband's an actor.
why should a child participate in theater?
Okay, quick question for you.
Yes.
Can you remember the first song you ever learned?
I think it might have been Row, Row, Row Your Boat. It's
Okay.
nothing particularly exciting.
Well, let me tell you, the answer is usually the ABCs. And that is a great example.
Well, yeah, that's true.
You know, and
Yes.
that's a great example for why your student should get involved in theater.
Okay.
It's really easy to learn your ABCs when you're singing the song, right? A, B, C, D, right?
F. Yes,
exactly.
absolutely.
If you're just listing off a string of letters, A, B, C.
There's no way.
No way. Research shows your student would learn it 40% slower than if you put it to a song. Great argument right there.
That says a lot. When you're applying music to things like memorization, that really does make a lot of sense. And you're engaging different neurons in the brain to allow them to learn and absorb things.
Absolutely.
Okay, so let's talk about some of the benefits of performing on stage. What are some of the developmental benefits of also being on stage, allowing yourself to be vulnerable and having a spotlight shine on you?
100%. It is so important for a student or a child to get the opportunity to be in front of other individuals. And doing that in theater is a safe space for them to get to explore that because they're taking on a role, right? It's not themselves in front of a crowd of hundreds. It's the character. It's the story that they're portraying. So it makes them feel really safe. And being in front of so many people just explodes your opportunities for creativity. It brings you so much social emotional learning. It makes you a more confident person. It makes you more well-spoken. It gives you the ability to say, hey, if I can stand up and be Red Riding Hood in front of 100 people, then I can certainly be myself in my group of 10.
I think that is a really good point. By standing up and being willing to accept the spotlight, that builds confidence and self-esteem.
Yeah.
But there are kids that may not want to be in the spotlight. They prefer not to. That doesn't mean that they can't still be involved in theater in a really defined way that can also help them as they move on with their life journey.
That's right. Forbes magazine put out a study a couple years ago that said the number 1 quality that new hires are looking for in the STEM field is creativity. So a student who's working backstage in theater is not only getting all of that science, technology, engineering, mathematics, those really important STEM skills, but they're also getting the creativity of arts education. They are making sure that they are learning how to hang a light in a theater, but they're also learning about refraction. They're making sure that they know how to build a set, but they're also learning about construction. There's so many aspects of technical theater the student who maybe doesn't want to perform on stage can engage in and still gets them all that good arts education experience.
Well, and I also say from my own theater experience, there's nothing better than to work with a group of people, a team, if you will, for a common goal, and to work together in such a way that your skill sets are being applied and you can actually see the outcome in front of an audience. That, I think, that creative element of it and that teamwork element of it, that's a wonderful way to kind of prepare you for ultimately when you're in a workforce with a team of people.
That's right. It's like playing a team sport, except there's never a loss. There's only ever a win. You're getting all of that collaboration.
That's a really good point. In Texas, we think a lot about sports.
We do.
And those losses are hard, but that's true. In theater, it's always a win.
Always a win.
That is a really good point. All right, let's also talk a little bit about how we can get our kids involved in theater. Say, for example, that our schools don't offer a theater program. What do you suggest?
Well, the most important thing for you to do is to take your child to the theater.
Okay.
There's so much theater happening in Dallas. Obviously, I'm partial to the shows that we have at Broadway Dallas, but there's a lot of local theater happening, and your child seeing something happening on stage can only inspire them to want to get involved in it. And beyond that, if maybe their school doesn't offer theater, I would look into community theater or children's theater programs. There's a lot of that happening in DFW and our suburbs. And it's a great
Broadway
opportunity.
Dallas also reaching out to Broadway Dallas. You do a lot for students.
We do, yeah. We have a really robust education program. We serve 35,000 students annually through all of the different educational theater aspects. We really deeply believe that theater should be accessible to everyone. There should not be a person who can't experience theater because of circumstances or economic situation, and that the music hall should be a cultural home for the whole city of Dallas.
That's fantastic. I really do appreciate you being here. And I can't endorse enough the importance of theater and what that meant in my life. So I appreciate that, and I appreciate what Broadway Dallas is doing. And I know that they've got a lot of other things that are happening at Broadway Dallas, including their upcoming shows. You can find out more information by going to broadwaydallas.org. Again, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.